Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be looking into something that's been generating a lot of buzz,
Yeah,
long-term crypto investing.
definitely a hot topic.
Yeah, we're going to try to unpack what that actually means. Like, what does it mean to be in it for the long haul?
Right.
And, why are people so optimistic about the future of crypto? And of course, we're going to have to touch on
Of
the
course.
risks involved
For sure.
before you even think about jumping in.
It's all about making informed decisions.
So are you ready to kind of cut through the hype and figure out, if this whole long-term crypto thing is something?
Absolutely. I think it's easy to get caught up in all the noise and excitement,
Yeah, for sure.
but it's crucial to look beyond just the daily price fluctuations.
Right.
You really have to understand the underlying value of what crypto represents.
I think that's a great point to start with. So first things first, how about we define what long-term even means? When we're talking about crypto, like we're not talking about, trying to get rich quick off some meme coin that's trending, are we?
Definitely not. I think that's the get rich quick scheme part of it. Long-term crypto investing is about recognizing the transformative potential
Yeah.
of this technology and truly believing in its future growth, even if that growth takes years or even decades to fully materialize.
Really play the long game. I
Exactly.
like that. And it seems like that mindset is starting to gain traction even among some pretty big players, right? I mean, we've seen companies like Tesla
Right.
dipping their toes into the crypto world and even financial institutions like JP Morgan.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see.
What do you think is driving this shift?
Well, I think it's a few things. As more people start to grasp the potential of blockchain technology,
Uh-huh.
we're witnessing this surge of institutional adoption. These big players bring credibility and resources,
Right.
and they have the infrastructure to really pave the way for mainstream acceptance.
Yeah, they have the power to legitimize it in a way.
Ex-
So it's not just about, Bitcoin going up or down anymore.
uh,
It's about the underlying tech and how it can disrupt all sorts of industries. I
Absolutely.
mean, we're seeing blockchain being used in everything these days. Supply chains, healthcare, even art and music with NFTs.
It's mind-blowing how quickly it's spreading.
Yeah, it is. So if blockchain lives up to its promise, it could totally revolutionize how we do business, how we interact, how we just
Absolutely.
function in so many areas of life.
It has the potential to change everything.
And as those use cases expand the value of all the cryptocurrencies tied to them,
Right.
could theoretically go up.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's like instead of trying to time the market,
Exactly.
and make a quick profit, long-term crypto investors are betting on the tech itself.
It's about the long game.
Yeah, they're saying if this technology changes the world,
Yeah.
the value will follow.
It's a bet on the future.
Right. And one of the things that I find so interesting about crypto, particularly Bitcoin,
Yeah, Bitcoin's a fascinating case.
okay, is its limited supply.
Right, like there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins.
That's it.
And that's it. It's such a major difference from traditional currencies, which can be printed endlessly,
Yeah.
and potentially lead to inflation.
So unlike the dollar in my wallet, which, could
Right.
be worth less next year because of inflation,
Exactly.
Bitcoin is designed to become scarcity
Yeah.
over time.
Scarcity drives value.
That's a pretty wild concept when you think about it.
It is. It really challenges the traditional financial system.
Totally. So as more people enter the crypto market and demand goes up,
Yeah,
that scarcity could play a big role,
and huge.
driving value even higher.
It's one of the key factors.
And then you've got this whole concept of decentralization, right? Like the idea that you can have more control over your own finances,
Right.
independent of those big traditional banks and institutions. What do you think about that aspect?
I think that's one of the most appealing aspects for a lot of people. There's something really empowering about having more autonomy
Yeah.
over your own money, and being less reliant on those centralized systems that we've always had.
Yeah, there's a certain freedom in that.
A lot of freedom. It resonates with people who are maybe a bit wary of traditional institutions.
Right. And looking for alternative ways to manage their money.
Exactly. It's about having options.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, it taps into that desire for more transparency,
Oh, absolutely.
more accessibility
Transparency is key in the crypto world.
in the financial system.
Yeah, it's about knowing what's going on.
But of course, no investment is completely risk-free.
Never.
And crypto especially
Especially.
is known for its volatility.
Oh, yeah. Those price swings can be wild.
They can be pretty intimidating for anyone, especially if you're new to all this.
I can imagine.
So how do you think those who are in it for the long haul
Yeah, how do they handle it?
navigate that roller coaster? How do they stomach those big drops?
Yeah, that's the big question. It's important to remember that volatility doesn't automatically equal risk in the long term.
Okay,
Think about it. Those who invested in Bitcoin early on
right.
and held on despite all the ups and downs,
Yeah, they rode the waves.
they rode the waves and they saw incredible returns.
They sure did.
So I think the key here is having a clear strategy,
Okay.
and the patience to stick to it.
That sounds like solid advice for any type of investing, really.
It really is. Patience is key.
So knowing about the volatility, what are some practical ways people can approach crypto investing for the long term?
Well, I think research is absolutely essential.
Okay.
Before investing in any crypto asset, you have to understand it.
Right.
What problem is it trying to solve? Who's behind the project? What's their vision for the future? You wouldn't buy a house without inspecting it,
No,
right? So don't invest in crypto without doing your homework.
that's a good analogy. It's about knowing what you're getting into.
Exactly. It's about informed decision making.
Yeah, not just jumping on the bandwagon because everyone else be doing it.
FOMO is a dangerous thing in the crypto world.
So research is important, taking that long-term perspective.
Right.
But with literally thousands of cryptocurrencies out there, I mean,
Yeah, there are a lot.
where do you even begin? How do you even start to narrow it down?
That's where the research comes in. You mentioned Bitcoin earlier.
Uh-huh.
It's often called digital gold because, like gold, it has a limited supply
Right.
and it's seen as a store of value. It's also the most liquid and well-known cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So it's considered a relatively safe bet in the crypto world.
So it's like a good starting point for a lot of people,
It's a good foundation.
but it's definitely not the only one making waves.
Oh, definitely not.
We hear a lot about Ethereum. What makes it so different?
Well, Ethereum goes beyond just being a digital currency. It's a platform for building decentralized applications, or dApps.
Oh yeah, depth.
And it's the foundation for this whole DeFi space that's exploding.
Decentralized finance.
Exactly. It's all about recreating traditional financial services, but on a decentralized blockchain.
So things like lending, borrowing, trading.
All of that. And what makes Ethereum so powerful is its smart contract functionality.
You know, I've heard that term smart contracts thrown around a lot.
Yeah, it's a buzzword, for sure.
But I'm not sure I fully grasp it. Can you break it down? Like for someone who's not a tech expert?
Sure. Think of smart contracts as self-executing agreements written in code.
Okay,
They automate transactions and cut out the need for a middleman,
gotcha.
which could revolutionize so many industries.
So while Bitcoin might be the digital gold,
Right.
Ethereum is like the digital oil. It's fueling a whole ecosystem,
I love that analogy. That's a great way to put it. And as that ecosystem grows, so too could the value of Ether,
which is,
which is Ethereum's native cryptocurrency.
gotcha. And then beyond these two big players, I mean, there's a whole universe of altcoins out
A
there.
whole universe. It's amazing and overwhelming at the same time.
Yeah, you've got Polkadot, which is aiming to connect different blockchains.
Yeah, trying to create interoperability.
Solana is known for its speed, Cardano for its rigorous development process.
And they all have their strengths and weaknesses.
Then you've got all those DeFi projects on top of it all. How do you even begin to sort through all of that?
It's a lot, but just like with any investment, I think diversification is key.
Okay,
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, especially in such a dynamic and ever-changing space.
so spread your investments across different products,
Exactly.
different sectors of the crypto world.
That's the idea. Reduce your risk by spreading it out.
Don't bet the farm on one horse.
Exactly. Especially in this race.
Right. But even with diversification, crypto is still super volatile. I mean,
It is.
those price swings can be hard to stomach, even if you're committed for the long haul.
Definitely. And I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any strategies for managing that volatility?
There are. One strategy that can be really helpful, especially for beginners, is dollar cost averaging, or DCA.
Okay,
Instead of investing a large sum all at once,
right.
you invest a fixed amount at regular intervals, regardless of the price.
So you're buying a little bit when the price is high, a
Yeah.
little bit more when the price is low.
Exactly. It helps you average out your purchase price over time.
Smooths things out.
Exactly. And it can prevent you from making emotional decisions based on those short-term market swings.
It's easy to get caught up in the moment, right?
So easy. FOMO is a powerful force.
Yeah, it really is. So DCA encourages that discipline,
It does.
that long-term approach.
Which is crucial in the crypto world.
But even with a strategy like that, it's still got to be tough when you see your portfolio value dropping.
It's never easy to see red numbers.
How do you avoid panic selling?
Well, it all comes back to that long-term mindset. If you believe in the fundamental value of the project you've invested in,
Right.
those short-term dips shouldn't shake your conviction. The crypto market is still relatively young.
Yeah.
It's inherently volatile. Think of it like a roller coaster.
I like that analogy.
You're in it for the whole ride, not just for a quick thrill.
You got to enjoy the ups and the downs.
Exactly. It's all part of the experience.
So DCA is one strategy. Are there any others that long-term crypto investors should consider?
Well, one strategy that's gaining popularity is staking.
Staking.
It essentially involves locking up your crypto assets to support the operation of a blockchain network.
So you're kind of like contributing to the network's security.
Exactly. And in return for that, you earn rewards.
So it's like earning interest on your crypto.
Exactly. It's a passive way to earn income on your holdings.
And it's becoming more popular?
It is, as more blockchains adopt proof-of-stake consensus mechanisms.
Proof of stake, another term I've heard but don't fully understand.
Yeah, it can be a bit confusing. It's basically a way for a blockchain to validate transactions and ensure security,
Okay,
but without relying on energy-intensive mining like Bitcoin does.
so it's more environmentally friendly.
Much more. And in a proof-of-stake system, those who hold and stake a certain amount of the cryptocurrency have a chance to be chosen to validate blocks
Okay,
and earn rewards.
so it's a way for holders to actively participate in the network.
Exactly. It's a more inclusive and sustainable approach.
I like that. So we've got DCA, we've got staking. Can any other advanced strategies?
There's yield farming, which is a bit more complex and risky,
Okay,
but it can be lucrative. It involves providing liquidity to DeFi protocols,
which are?
those platforms offering decentralized financial services.
Right, like the ones we talked about earlier.
Exactly. And you earn rewards in return for providing that liquidity.
So it's like you're lending out your crypto.
Yeah, kind of. You earn interest on that loan, but you also get rewarded with additional tokens from the protocol itself.
So you're getting a double return.
That's the idea, but it's important to note that yield farming has its own risks.
Okay,
The value of your assets can fluctuate, and there's the potential for what's called impermanent loss.
impermanent loss. That sounds scary.
It can be. It's not something to jump into without really understanding DeFi.
So it's more for the experienced investors.
I would say so. Yeah, those who are comfortable with higher risk.
But it's fascinating to see all these different ways to potentially earn rewards in the crypto space.
It is. It's such a dynamic and innovative space.
But I guess with all these rewards, there have to be risks too, right?
Always. There's no such thing as a free lunch.
What are some of the big ones that long-term crypto investors need to be aware of?
Well, one of the biggest is regulatory uncertainty. Governments around the world are still trying to figure out how to approach crypto.
Yeah, it seems like it's constantly changing.
It is, and their decisions could significantly impact market access and prices.
We've seen countries go back and forth on their stats towards crypto.
All the time. One day they're embracing it, the next they're cracking down.
So it's a risk that investors need to be aware of.
Definitely. And then on top of that, there's the security risk.
Right, because exchanges and digital wallets are prime targets for hackers.
They are. It's important to take security very seriously.
So what are some safeguards that investors can put in place?
Well, first and foremost, use strong passwords. Enable two-factor authentication on all of your accounts.
Two-factor authentication, got it.
And consider a hardware wallet for storing larger amounts of crypto.
What's a hardware wallet?
It's basically a physical device that stores your private keys offline,
Oh, okay.
making it much harder for hackers to access your funds.
Sounds like taking your crypto off the exchange.
Exactly, and storing it in a secure vault.
Gotcha. And then there's also the technological risk.
Of course, blockchain is still a young technology.
Yeah, it's evolving all the time.
New projects are popping up constantly. What's hot today might be obsolete tomorrow.
Like the early days of the internet.
Exactly. It's hard to predict which technologies will stand the test of time.
So investors need to be comfortable with a certain level of uncertainty.
Absolutely. And be willing to learn and adapt as the technology evolves.
All about staying informed.
Continuous learning is key.
Are there any other risks that we haven't talked about yet?
We should also mention market manipulation. The crypto market is still relatively small.
Compared to traditional markets.
Exactly. So large traders, often called whales, can have a big impact on prices.
So you could get caught up in hype or trends driven by these whales.
It's definitely a risk. It's important to do your own research.
Yeah, not just blindly follow the crowd.
Look at the fundamentals of a project.
Right.
Make informed decisions based on solid information.
Not just what you see trending on Twitter.
Exactly. Don't let FOMO drive your investment decisions.
So a lot of the same principles of traditional investing apply to crypto?
Absolutely. Do your research, diversify your portfolio, don't let emotions cloud your judgment.
But there's also a whole other dimension to crypto that goes beyond just the financial gains.
Oh, absolutely. It's about so much more than just making money.
That's what I'm really interested in exploring. What are some of the ways crypto could change the world beyond our bank accounts?
That's a great question, and I think it's one that's worth diving into.
We've spent a good chunk of time talking about the nitty-gritty of long-term crypto investing.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
But I think it's time to kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
I agree. It's important to see the forest for the trees.
Crypto isn't just about, potentially making a bunch of money.
Right. It's much bigger than that.
It's a technological and social shift.
Yeah, a real paradigm shift.
It could fundamentally change how we interact with the world.
Absolutely. It has the potential to be truly revolutionary.
I think it's easy to get caught up in the price charts and all the hype.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But at its core, crypto is really about empowering people, isn't it?
It is. It's about giving individuals more control over their lives.
It's about decentralization, transparency, and creating a more equitable system.
Yeah, leveling the playing field in a lot of ways.
Imagine a world where you have more control over your own financial data.
Right.
You can send money across borders instantly and cheaply.
Without all the fees and middlemen.
And access to financial services isn't limited by where you live or your economic background.
It's about financial inclusion for everyone.
That's the promise of crypto.
It is. It's a vision of a more open and accessible future.
It's a pretty radical departure from the traditional systems we're used to.
It is. It's a challenge to the status quo.
And it's not just about finance either.
Right. Blockchain technology has implications for so many industries.
I mean, we're already seeing it used in supply chain management, healthcare voting systems.
And even in the art world with NFTs.
Yeah, NFTs are fascinating.
They are. It's like a whole new way for artists to connect with their fans.
And for creators to have more control over their work.
Exactly. It cuts out the middleman.
I've also been reading about how blockchain is being used to make supply chains more transparent,
Yeah, that's a big one.
which can help reduce waste, combat fraud, and ensure ethical sourcing.
It's about bringing accountability and transparency to complex systems.
These are just a few examples of how crypto is starting to have a real-world impact.
And we're just getting started.
It seems like we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
I think so. It's an incredibly exciting time to be watching this technology unfold.
But like with any disruptive tech, there are always challenges.
Of course, there's no such thing as a perfect solution.
We've talked about the regulatory landscape, which is still very much in flux.
Right, governments are still trying to figure out how to approach this.
And then there are the security risks.
Yeah, protecting your digital assets is crucial.
And beyond those practical concerns, there are also ethical questions to consider.
Absolutely. We need to think carefully about the potential impact of this technology.
How do we ensure that crypto is used for good and doesn't make existing inequalities worse?
That's the key question. We need to be mindful of the potential downsides as well.
It's a powerful tool.
It is.
And with great power comes great responsibility.
That's a good way to put it. It's up to all of us to shape this technology in a way that benefits humanity.
Developers, investors, policymakers, everyday users. We all have a role to play.
I agree. It's a collective effort.
We need to have open and honest conversations about the potential benefits and risks.
Absolutely. We need to engage in thoughtful dialogue and debate.
And work together to create a future where this technology is used ethically and responsibly.
That's the goal, to harness the power of crypto for the greater good.
The future of crypto is not set in stone.
Right. It's being shaped by the choices we make today.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into long-term crypto investing,
Yeah, it's been a great conversation.
I want to leave our listeners with a challenge.
A challenge. I like it.
Don't just think of crypto as an investment.
Okay.
Think of it as a movement,
A movement towards a more decentralized future.
a force for change. Engage in the conversations, explore the possibilities, and ask yourself,
Yes.
how can you be a part of shaping this exciting and uncertain future?
That's a great way to end this. I love it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of long-term crypto investing.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and maybe a new perspective on this rapidly evolving space.
And hopefully some food for thought.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep